what's going on? Good morning. What's going on? Good morning. I'm gonna give it a few minutes, maybe like 2, 3 minutes, let people join up. All right, let's get started. Book it. Whoever joins late, pick rewind. Good morning. Let's see who's in here. All right, so first things first, Apple setup we discussed yesterday, pre-market, on stream and Discord, paid really well, opened yesterday at that 786 level, and we rejected very clean off of that level, right? I mentioned we had an open gap that we had to come fill before potentially heading higher. We have now successfully closed that gap. You know, these levels were left open. I said yesterday, hey, The sales we had were really clean, paid very well, but I don't trust this pop we had intraday, and I mentioned that just because of the fact that no, sorry, we closed below the levels we needed. But I said we had left that open gap, right? So we closed that gap here. Now I do think Apple has very clean upside potential. If you guys want to take the longs, I'd probably rather take SPY if I'm being honest with you guys, but this is a viable setup on Apple, right? First test is going to be right into, well, there's a few tests, but the first major one is going to be back into that EQ level, right? And if you go take a look at SPY, it also held levels we needed it to hold. So we called the pullback, got the pullback right around into these levels, and then bounced off of that, right? Assuming SPY holds these levels and Apple gets the breakout we just covered. So if Apple starts breaking out above 201.25 maybe, you could see a nice push on SPY to the upside from these levels, which would coincide with this that we drew up yesterday. This is a smaller time frame range, so you want to see a breakout back to these highs, which we were just at Wednesday. This is a small range. They can do this rather fast with the help of Apple. But then when you zoom out to see the bigger targets, we have a target that we've had up here for some time. We mentioned 587 being a potential target, which is a tiny bit lower than this, right around here, right? This is this target we have. Back to that 618. I'm not saying we have to get there. There's a couple levels in the way, but first things first, you're gonna have your breakout above the 382. So first, we're here, right? Breakout to the 382. That's gonna be your first test. 382, which is 546.5, let's say. If they manage to break out above that level, they're going to take it to 560.69, which is your 0.5. And if they manage to get above that, I'm pretty sure they'll go to that 618, which is at 575, and then coincides right around or slightly above this wick fill. And if they break out above that, that would give us that final 587 I'm talking about. So this could be like step one, target 2, target 3, target 4. Maybe you won't get all the upside targets, but potentially this is the route we're headed, assuming we do not give up these lows. And who's going to decide that? Like I said today and yesterday, Apple. We needed that pullback, we got it. Now we're holding that open gap as discussed. If this happens, great. SPY's going to get the breakout. But if you do see Apple start slipping below these levels, that's definitely not a good sign. So I think this is a really clean day today, just because we have fine levels, and we're not going to be guessing on where we have our triggers. We have our fine triggers on everything. Let me zoom out. Like McDonald's, for example. Yesterday we said below 315.85 we have sales. We're currently dancing right around that level, right? If they fail to get below and stay below 315.85 at the open, I would say sales on McDonald's are invalid. So trying to hold that support and breakout back towards 325, and that would also coincide with the breakout on SPY, breakout on Apple. So a lot of names right around support, trying to break out here. If they slip under support, then you can remain tactical on the sales, but as long as we're above, no reason to be short. Same comments on Berkshire, for example, currently holding support, threatening to break out back to all-time highs. So if that is the case, you got to watch out for breakout above here, back to here, then higher, right? If we start losing support, that is when you can potentially re-enter the sells. This small sell yesterday paid us a little bit, not much, but at this point, like I said, refrain from being in sells unless we give up support levels, because they are looking to break out higher. Sounds very low. Yikes, I've been talking for a minute. I just saw those comments. All right, let me turn on my mic. Does that sound a little better? Did y'all hear any of it, even slightly, if it was low? But do you hear some of the comments or not really? And how's the mic, a little better now or not? I see it's picking up very low. Better? Is that cool? I could turn it up a little bit more. I did turn it down this morning just a bit. I didn't think it would make a big difference, but I guess it did. My bad. So this cool right here. And do y'all need me to repeat the comments, or you think you could figure it out? Rewind, raise volume. Don't know. Let me know. If not, I'll repeat everything real quick. Still a little low for sure. Let me turn this up. All right, fuck it. How about there? All right, see less. So yeah, looks. I don't know if you heard the comments or not, but I was saying it looks like we're gonna get the breakout today. What time is it? I'll try to cover like 2-3 minutes real quick. I could turn it up. Like there's a couple things I could do. Just let me know if y'all could hear it or not. I'm just trying to make sure it's on everybody's setup. So again, this is your open gap on Apple. Closed it, which we wanted to see. Great. Now you have two setups. Literally, do not do much at open if you want to, force a trade, I guess. But the technical setup is a breakout above 201.25 or the breakdown below 199.50. So that's what you have on Apple, right? And like I said, if Apple does break out, you're gonna get this breakout on SPY, and you'll probably get the breakout on McDonald's, and you'll probably get the breakdown on UVIXI. So again, we got to see what happens on Apple wide open. If it does trigger the breakdown, then we'll be short. If it triggers a breakout, then definitely don't be short. You could try the longs. But yeah, I want to see a move slightly lower on UVXY. Doesn't have to happen. Again, we have tests across the board. You have somewhat of a test here on UVIXI. It can do this from these levels if it wanted to, assuming that Apple does break down support and SPY also breaks down support below support. You would get this breakout on UVXY, right? And if we do get the breakout on SPY and Apple, then you would get this breaking down to the downside, where we would ideally want to buy where I had mentioned into these lows, right? So let's be patient today, just because sure, the buy side, if you're short, looks good. If you're long or trying to get long, just long story short, you have this potential. So don't try forcing sells in case we do come here. Like I said yesterday in the chat, if we are back at 26 on UVXY and maybe 587 or even lower on SPY, I'll throw decent size on sells. At this point here, it's really hard to put size on any trade, at least for a swing in my opinion, because we're at a midpoint. So until I get some type of definition resolution within this box, I'm not looking to throw on too much size. But like I said, just keep an eye on Apple. That's going to be the simple tell for today. Super simple levels, super clear. And if you guys don't have the levels, write them down, set alerts, do whatever you got to do. But it's going to be 201.25 to the upside for the breakout out of this range, and 199.50, 55, 50 or 55, depends how tactical you want to be, for the downside. And yeah, McDonald's is holding too. Berkshire's holding. That 531 and bouncing. So the levels we were trading between yesterday. What time is it? We got 5 minutes for sure. This looks pretty messy just because of all this right here, but that's the original entry we had, right? So we shorted this. Now we are back at those levels, which is a potential area we can fade from or break out. These wicks are really, really big, so I'm sure we're going to go retest them. Doesn't mean we can't squeeze a bit higher before then. But eventually Berkshire is going to be one I'm going to be really interested in. Think about it, guys. This is 460. We were around 540. This was about $100 move in a week. Was it a week? Yeah, about a week. So yeah, just wait. If we do something like this, I'm gonna be really interested in but that sell setup. But until we don't reach levels, you don't have confirmation to be short. Keep it tactical, just because, like I said, if you do get that squeeze, if you're short here from the lows, it's definitely gonna cost you. Yeah, bro, Berkshire back to the lows would be ridiculous. It's gonna be Christmas in the middle of summer. Let's see what we get here. Apple, small red ticks, nothing major. And this is a pretty wide range. So yes and no. It's wide, but at the same time, this one 15-minute candle pretty much did the entire range. So be mindful, like I said, don't force anything until you get your triggers. If you put a gun to my head right now and you tell me which way we're going, I'd say the market's going higher today from here, or at least for the next, couple days maybe. Um, and again, that's a wild guess. I have no triggers, just based off what I'm seeing on the charts. I would assume it's going higher. So if you're short, just be mindful. And then J&J's testing that 151 ish, way above it. But 151 is going to be your level to watch for today. Pretty much same ranges. And then McDonald's 315.85. If we lose that at the opening, fall below, great. As long as we're above, and we currently are, I'd be careful being short. But those are the comments across the board. So let's see what we get. Yeah, Apple looks good. If y'all want to take the calls, go ahead. Me personally, I'd rather just chill. Wait till we feel those upside targets and then short on size. Look at that breakout on Apple. Nice. So let's see if they manage to pull this off. But remember, we did all this to the downside yesterday. So what says we can't do this whole upside today? I'm not saying we have to, but just food for thought. And you have this whole range to the downside too. So careful if you give levels up. All right, we got 1 minute to the open. Let's see what we get here. As of the open, we are above trigger levels, so be mindful unless we get a major, change of hands right at the open. I'd refrain from being short, and if you are short, be careful with that. Try covering. If we don't, obviously give levels back up. You can take any name you want, bro. I'm just sharing the cleanest levels I'm seeing. So if you want to take AVGO, you want to take, I don't care, bro. If y'all want to take any stock, that's on y'all. Go ahead. I'm just sharing market levels that are easy to read. So if you want to go long on anything in the market based off of these comments that Apple is going to break out, go for it. If you want to go short, if we break down on any other name than Apple and SPY, go for it. I'm just sharing levels on what Apple, the biggest company in the world. So one key thing to note. And then two, we have the cleanest levels on Apple and SPY here, which we took note of yesterday. This potential drop on Apple, filling the gap, got that here. and now we're mentioning the potential bounce off of this gap close. So if you want to go long or short any other name that's not on my screen, you want to ask about it, go for it. Or if you want to just, based off level short any other name, based off these comments or long, that's cool. Just us again within triggers. So we popped about, not too much, maybe $1.50 right at the open above that breakout level. So let's see if they manage to flip back from these highs, or they're actually gonna go for the breakout. So I'm right on UNH, small reds on McDonald's. Berkshire trying to give up that 532.50, but as long as we stay above levels, like I said, there's no reason to be shorting. If you start getting breakdowns below support levels, that's a different story. Did trigger downside, would you swing 1 week or 2 weeks? It's depends on your portfolio, but I don't think it's the best idea to swing 2 weeks just because we have a short week this week. You can, but I myself, oof, look at that candle. That's nasty. I myself don't think it's the best idea just because you have a short week. You're better off scalping this week and then just load up your swings next week, start of the week, with 2 weeks time then. That's what I would try to do. And again, no reason to be shorting here because everything's breaking out. So tactically, that doesn't really make sense. I don't know if you got out of Berkshire yesterday or not, but I did mention getting out of those yesterday while they were green. So super nice breakout here on SPY. I mentioned in the morning if I did take a trade, which I said I wouldn't, but if I was gonna take one, I'd take SPY over Apple. So let's see if we get that upside development from here. These are your first potential targets. Well, first, yesterday's range, right? And then you're going to have previous month low, previous week high, which is this here. And if we break out above that, that's when you're going to have your massive leg to the upside. So again, don't be forcing sells, guys. There's no reason to be short unless we get triggers, which we have not got. And then Apple, look at that massive candle to the upside. McDonald's, nice little red here. So if you are short McDonald's, again, keep it tactical. If at any point they start pushing back above 315.85 and you want to take your sales off, go for it. I think it's going to be a much safer trade to hold the sales below 315.85. But if they do reclaim that, just watch out with those sales. But these are starting to pay here. Berkshire gave up that 532.50, now giving up that 531. So really good progress here to the downside on some names, but then on other names like Apple, you haven't really gotten much of a pullback, or SPY. There you go, small reds here. So let's see if they manage to stick this and close below levels here. Oh, look at McDonald's, nice. What is everybody in? Is anybody in anything? Still no major breakouts or breakdowns, so keep it tactical. For now, we are still above levels on SPY and Apple, though, so watch out. All right, so if you're in SPY calls here, that's not terrible. Not the best, but not terrible. So let's see. If at any point you start getting below 539.25 this week here, or I mean, I guess you give it a little more room, but maybe not the best area to enter here. You could have maybe waited in case we got to pull back to these levels, and then try to take it long from there. But as long as we hold up this little mini zone here, you should be okay to continue higher from here. And it's all going to be in the hands of Apple. which is giving you massive sells. So yeah, be careful with that one if you got in there. You generally don't want to get out at a resistance level like here. You'd be much better off waiting for a dip like the one we're getting here and trying to buy anywhere near the lows. If you're still in it and you want to hold it a bit longer, assuming we're going to hold this and bounce higher, that's fine. But generally, yeah, you don't want to be entering on those upticks. You're trying to get long, I like to get long on downticks. If you're trying to get short, you want to get short on upticks. But so far holding this little range, so let's see if you get that. And then Apple coming back into the top range, which is 201.25. If that holds and bounces from there, that's great for the bulls. But if they do start to give up that level, that's going to be a problem. All right, so McDonald's starting to pay out a tiny bit here coming into that EQ. I want to see if we manage to lose EQ. And if we do happen to do that, we're going to get some a little bit more selling pressure on there. But if we don't manage to get above EQ, sorry, below EQ, you definitely want to get out of those sales if you're still in them. Apple bouncing right off of that opening gap. So here you see Apple bouncing right off those levels we discussed. Why do I have Apple twice? So, oof, nice breakout off those levels on SPY, and Apple bouncing off of that opening gap. So if I had to guess, McDonald's is going to bounce here off of that EQ and push higher. And then UVXY, solid breakdown here below levels. So again, be careful here of short. Thoughts on gold. So below 296.85 is technically, technically we're below point of control. So if we lose this level 296.85, you can slip lower. But if we stay above that, I'd be careful being short. Nice breakout here on SPY. I'm not maybe. So Wells Fargo, I'm not sure what you bought, how you're trading it. Just be very careful. You're coming into this top range. You have this entire cluster of resistance here, right? This entire cluster, which we've been battling with. And below this, you have clean traffic to the downside and untested sell side liquidity. So if at any point you do start getting rejected from these top ranges, you're coming back down into these lows, in my opinion. The path lower is a lot easier than the path higher. I'm not saying the path higher can't happen. It definitely can, but you have this to watch for. And then from there, potentially higher. But you do have a lot of resistance here. So it's cool. Just be mindful. It's not going to be easy getting over this. And if they do get over it, you should see a nice move to the upside. But let's see what they do today. Maybe 64.5 is going to be a level to watch. If they fail to get above that relatively soon, you might want to be careful. Nice green candle here, but just like they did here, one massive green candle gave it back in the next two. So massive green candle, does it stick and push higher, or are they about to give it up in the next two? I'm not adding to TLT yet or any of my major swing positions. I'm gonna wait till next week probably, just because, like I said, if the markets do break out higher from here, the TLT is gonna come a little lower. So I'm not really doing too much. TLT is actually doing okay here. So if you added on Friday, you're up. If you took a little bit yesterday, you're up on those probably or relatively flat. So I'm not doing anything on TLT myself, but it looks okay, which is surprising because TLT shouldn't be rallying if the market's rallying. So someone might be lying here. And one name I've been discussing for some time is Costco. I said I'd want to re-short once we close this gap. Gets a little messy. I just want to focus on this. So we have this. Let me go to the daily. You have this open gap that we left from earnings. I said potential gap close. We are now going to close that gap. Once we do close that gap into like 1,020, I'm going to be interested in re-shorting Costco. So a lot of names are still threatening more upside, left unfilled gaps to the upside. Once those gaps do close, I'll consider re-shorting on size, but that has not happened yet. But TLT is still pushing here a little, so that's interesting. If you're in SPY, whoever said they were in SPY, this is a potential take profit area here. If you want to hold it for a bit longer for the bigger breakout, go for it. But this is one of the areas I'd consider taking profits. So your call. If you get the breakout above here, great. You're going to go much higher. Let me zoom out a bit. So you are currently at the mini breakout. So this was the mini breakout. Got that delivered. Now you have this resistance to the left, which if they manage to clear, you're going to go up to these highs, which is roughly around here. And then if you manage to take out that resistance is where you're going to get your next leg higher. So as discussed earlier, you have your target 1, target 2, target 3, target 4. Can't tell you how high they get it, but your first target's going to be here, assuming they manage to break out above this. So cluster of resistance to the left. And again, if they take this yellow box out, you're going to push a couple dollars higher. So if you're still in that and they manage to clear those levels, great, but just be mindful. It's going to be hard to clear here. So if you want to take some profits, depending on how you have your position, maybe not bad. If you have multiple contracts, you want to take some off, cool. If you want to risk it for the biscuit, again, it's going to be hard to get above that, but if they do, you should get paid out nicely. Up 60 on McDonald's buys, cool. And then Berkshire flipped back off the lows from that 531, now higher. But I'm not a big fan of that liquidity we left. Let's see, can we fill it? Maybe not. Yeah, probably not. I'd wait until they tag at least 536. And then McDonald's still below 315.85. So tactical sell still okay as long as we stay below that. If McDonald's starts reclaiming 315.85, different scenario. But for now, the sales are still okay. And yeah, again, into that top range resistance, be careful on SPY. If long, I'd definitely consider taking fast profits on scalps if you had them. If it breaks out higher, cool, but at least you secured some profits into potential problem area. And then small flip here on Apple. Costco pushing into that 990. I'm telling you guys, if and when Costco fills that 1020,000 gap, that's going to be really clean to sell to the downside. Has OKD put in new lows? Nah, it hasn't. Yeah, OKD, if that actually goes under 103, crazy. I think that's like the lowest we hit yet, 103. Nice breakdown here on gold. I mean, not really. Still above major key levels, but hey, I'll take any red ticks. And then small pullbacks here on Apple and SPY. So again, like I said, into that top range, be mindful if holding calls. Yeah, no. Everyone asking about TLT. I myself am not adding on my port. I'm gonna wait, but I don't know. Are you guys down over 30% or and what strikes? Because I think I've issued like 3 sets on TLT. I issued a shorter dated one. That one instantly, I think like if you didn't take secure profit same day, the runners immediately got crushed day after on the gap down. And then I issued the reload. The reloads have been doing okay. So I don't know which specific set you guys are talking about, but I'm not doing too bad with TLT. I'm gonna just wait on that one. Let's see if we manage to pull back a bit here from these highs on SPY, Apple, and a few other names. Uh, that would be nice for whoever's in sales. But the main name I'm watching here myself is McDonald's. I want to see it get under EQ. And if it does not manage to do that, I'm going to take off some of the sales I mentioned I put on yesterday. And then Berkshire, if it pushes into that 536, that might be a potential small reshort area. Assuming that SPY is going to break down. But look at that. You still holding your SPY calls? Oh, I forgot who said they had SPY calls. But I'm telling you, if it's a wide range, about a $5 range. No, I'm lying, about $3 range. But if SPY manages to get above and break out past this entire resistance zone, you're gonna get a pretty nice moon on SPY. I'm assuming you're in 0DT, so maybe you don't have enough time to ride it all the way up. If you do have time, like a weekly, then that might be nice. But if it's a 0DT, you probably wouldn't have time to catch the second leg up. So just be mindful of levels. And then USD CAD gave up majority of the move we did yesterday. It's pretty flat here. And GJ rallied back to the highs, so be careful. Bitcoin also hasn't filled its upside targets I discussed with you guys yet. It's getting pretty close, but not yet. So I'd say path still favors the upside from here, at least in the short, maybe not like short term next 5 minutes comments, but definitely next day or two. I think they have the possibility of squeezing the market a bit higher. So let's see what develops here. And again, the main focus for me right now is McDonald's, but I am keeping an eye on SPY, which is now pushing back at the highs. Apple has not done that yet. We have wicks much higher on Apple, which we can go try to target here on a drive like this, which would trigger this next breakout up to here on SPY. Let's see. And you're getting a small bounce here on McDonald's. Berkshire pushing higher into that 536. Gold now below EQ. Let's see if they've managed to stay below and break below support levels. But like I said, we're still above major levels on gold, so it's going to be hard to break below. Once they do break below, we should have clean traffic. But for now, massive supports across the board on gold. I think under 290s till where we have clear traffic. Let's see. I think until 294-ish, under 294, 20, 25 maybe, we have clear traffic. But before that, I'd say it's going to be hard to, actually maybe 294.50. 294.50 should open selling pressure, but for now we're way above that, so keep it tactical. And then Apple going for that breakout here potentially. Let's see. So SPY at resistance, trying to do a small dip to break out, and then you need Apple to give us that pop to 203.28ish, 203.25. That's what we're waiting for here. But again, if you're short, be careful. Unless names flip here, which I didn't want to do that. Which I don't think they will. You want to be mindful. Berkshire, small reds here. I wanted to see 536, which we haven't seen. Maybe we don't go all the way up there, but I did want to see 536. So again, I'd say we're gonna go do this, but the question is what happens after we do that. If we do that, obviously. But let's say we do go up here, right? Do we sell from those levels, something like on Berkshire drawing, or are they gonna go for the breakout above there? That's the real question. These next few ticks don't really matter. That's pretty much a given in my opinion. What's important is the reaction off of that level. Are they gonna sell it off that level, or are they gonna go for the breakout? So again, just wait for those wicks to fill, and then after that, we'll assess. But like I said, they're probably pushing higher. Look at SPY. SPY's already pushing into that next target. So Apple's probably going to give us that next leg here. And then nice little sell on gold. But again, until it loses major supports, not too much. Let's refine the zone. This is way too wide. All right, that's better. Yeah, so until gold loses this zone, which we're way above, I'm not too not that I'm not interested in sales. Obviously I'm in them and I want to see a breakdown, but the probability of a big leg lower is going to be hard just because of all that support to the left. Once we give up those levels, I think that's when we could have maybe like a $5 down day on gold or something like that. So Apple filled that wick here, as you guys can see. And like I said, what's important is what we do at this level. Do we fade or do we break out? But we did get that wick fill here on Apple. And I do think the targets are higher. That doesn't mean we can't have a small pullback intraday before heading higher. So just be mindful. It's super early in the day, not even 7 a.m. So there's Apple pushing into that wick. And like I said, the key is what happens here. Are they going to deliver the breakout above that wick, or are they going to try to reject off these levels? UNH, new lows, not really. Need maybe like a tick lower for new lows. There we go, new lows. Nope, almost. And then McDonald's just hanging out at the lows. So small divergences here. All right, let's see if we get closure above. I'm gonna switch over to 3-minute. If we do start getting closures above levels on a 3-minute, then that's gonna be your confirmation for a potential breakout higher. But for now, so there it is, your first closure. Now this candle is gonna be your invalidation, your confirmation candle. And you did get the target delivered on SPY here, by the way. Look, to the penny. Gold pushing lower here. Target one at 296, 295.90. And then if we slip under that, we have a few targets lower. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's nice. Like, I'm not mad. Every red tick, like, shit, I'll take it. But we still haven't really done nothing, bro. Still in the same bullshit ass range. We were lower yesterday. So if we give up yesterday's lows, all right, now we talking, bro. Now I'm interested. Like McDonald's, now you got my interest right here. Losing EQ, oh yeah, that's something. But again, no triggers yet. So if we do give this up, great. For now, be mindful. probability of a bounce off of EQ is high. You have small gaps to the upside. Apple is trying to reject off of this wick fill level we discussed, but hasn't quite done it yet. So like I said, next few minutes to watch, it's going to be what Apple does off of this level, higher or lower. But if you are in McDonald's, I'd be careful. Maybe consider taking some off into EQ here for the small win versus a potential breakout, and you end up giving up the profits on the puts. If we do lose EQ, that's going to be beautiful. And we need Apple to fall. So if Apple falls from this level and McDonald's loses EQ, those puts can pay really well. And Berkshire didn't really feel it to the penny. I wanted to see a little higher into 536, but technically I guess that's close enough. Can't be perfect, but close enough. So Berkshire might have been a cool little short right here. See if we can get this back down into the lows. And then that would coincide with the sell on Apple off of these levels, which we're getting. But again, I told y'all, wait till you get the wick fill, then wick fill, you get your decision. You don't do anything before. I get it. Sometimes you want to get in trades before, you're impatient. But the correct thing to do is wait for these areas, and then your decision, like here, then you take your trade. Like Berkshire, again, super clean trade here. If anyone took it, I did not add or take it myself, but I'm assuming if we do get the breakdown from here on Berkshire, McDonald's, Apple, etc., this should pay really well. And let's focus Apple here. So again, depending what Apple does into this level, which I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff just so it looks a little clearer. But depending what Apple does here is going to be your next trade. Come on, bro. Stop playing with me. So back above this level, take the longs. Below, stay short. Or take shorts if not already short. And then again, McDonald's EQ test. I want to see us get under that. That would be really nice. And SPY giving up these levels now, so great. We delivered those targets. So again, if you get targets delivered and you're taking tactical trades point A to point B, you always want to take profits or at least manage or something. So flip here on Apple, nice. I still haven't seen below EQ on McDonald's, so no progress there. Berkshire, small, new lows, nothing sizable until we don't lose this area here. I'm going to be a little concerned with Berkshire. Again, I'm not in it, just trading comments for anyone that might have taken it. We want to see below this on Berkshire, and that'll deliver maybe back to 532. But if they hold this, this is a potential bounce area. So let's see what happens. WFC 2 minutes. What are you talking about? Wells Fargo 2 minutes. Let's see what we get here. McDonald's. Moment of truth. They gonna bounce off EQ or we get a new lows? Oh. Don't tease me, bro. Don't tease me right now. We don't get closures below levels. I don't care. McDonald's just teasing. Let's see if it manages to do it. Berkshire threatening to lose support. SPY giving up levels. Apple coming down a bit. But again, until we don't lose or trigger, no confirmations. You loaded Berkshire? You savage. I didn't do it. Not gonna lie, y'all. Streaming makes me a little less active, a little less focused on my personal trading since I'm over here trying to call out different names, the action, take different shit instead of solely been focusing on managing different portfolios, cross pair trading, etc. Whatever. But it's cool. I don't mind it. I still get my bread, not as much, but I still get some bread. And y'all getting paid too, so fuck it. But bruh, I forgot what day it was. Was it yesterday? I think it might have been yesterday. I missed my fucking exit. It was a clean ass trade and I was covering a whole bunch of shit. And then when I realized, I was like, ah, fuck. I still made money, but can't be getting sniper entries and sniper exits no more because I'm distracted. It is what it is. Look at that bounce on Berkshire though. Sheesh. Yeah, be careful if you short here. And whoops. And McDonald's failed to get below EQ. So again, if we don't do it on this 3-minute drive, I'm gonna just say fuck it and take that one off. Not that I don't have faith, but it looks like we might bounce off these levels. Spy still below, Apple still below. Just that bounce on Berkshire is a little concerning. So again, want to see below EQ and close below for McDonald's, or I might take that one off. But you guys see these bounces across the board. Look at Spy. So again, if you're short on any of these comments, just be mindful. We might get that potential leg higher here. Yeah, bro, and don't be stubborn. Like, I feel it. I want to short too, but that upside is just nasty. Like, they gonna crush the shit out of anyone short if they go for this. This already fucking crushed anyone shorting at the lows. But this next move will for sure take everybody out. And the fact that you break out above, this is where we broke down from, right? So this small flip above here is going to capture everybody going long, us thinking we're going to break out back to all-time highs or whatever the fuck. And then when everyone is out of shorts, because everyone's been stopped out, you know, on the way up, wherever you shorted, everyone's stopped out. So on this move up, everybody's going to be getting long. All shorts are out. And when we get the next move lower, you know, there's not going to be many people in the shorts. Again, we don't have to do all this. These are potential upside targets, but you have a lot of resistance to the left. Just want to be clear with you guys. If they manage to get this off, we're going much higher. So don't be like, fuck it, I'm going to just load up 2 weeks and sit on sales. Like, no, that might not work. If they go for that squeeze, even if you load up time, they're going to squeeze all the premiums out of your contracts. So you're better off if you really don't want to wait, you're like, fuck, you know, I'm itchy, fuck it, take small size, wait for next week to add into targets if we get there. But yeah, the sales look clean. Just be super careful, because if they trigger breakouts, I'm telling you guys, we're going way higher. Hold the squeeze on what are you talking about, bro? What swing do you have for 425? Look at that bounce on McDonald's right off EQ. So again, unless we trigger and close below here soon, maybe next 3 minutes. Let me flip a timer. You want to be careful with that McDonald's short. Whoever took it is in it. Or if you wanted to get long or whatever. Look at Spy back above important levels, and Apple holding support. So for now, nothing too bad. Berkshire held off the lows. McDonald's holding lows. So Bulls making some progress. Let's see if they manage to hold levels though. Oh, Berkshire. Not gonna lie, bro. Shit, if it gives you one more uptick, like anywhere here, I'd probably still hold. Like if it does this and then comes down, fuck it, I still hold. But if you talking like, you know, anywhere here, yeah, probably exit gang. But here I still like it. Shit, I might even take some myself. Not gonna lie, I didn't take it on the first pot, but here it's a little tricky though, because we haven't seen much selling pressure on any of these. If I saw, let's say, McDonald's right now below EQ, I'd be like, all right, fuck it. I'd be a little more confident to load shorts on Berkshire. But the fact that we're trying to bounce on these just makes it a little iffy. Ooh, new lows on McDonald's. Fuck it, not bad. Let's see. What are the weeklies cost? Might take a little scalp. Let's see. I want to see lows here on McDonald's. Still bouncing. And then Berkshire bounced. Let's see what those going for. Not too bad. Do I really want to buy them? So I'm watching here. Haven't done anything, but if I do get a breakdown on any of these Apple, I mean, I guess I'm gonna get in. Fuck it. If we go above previous day high, I'll probably exit. Let's see how it looks. We have a fresh 45. I'm cool. Fuck it. They're not too bad. The 535s are trading for around 385. So they're oof. Let's see. What time did that volume come in? I set an order at bid. If they get that pop into like this level, which we technically just did, so I guess they did deliver my target. But if we get a tiny little pop higher, I think they'll fill me. I think I got filled. But yeah, I'm gonna nibble here at Berkshire. Fuck it. Anywhere above highs, I'll probably take the trade off. I want to see new lows on McDonald's, which clearly we're not getting. Breakdown on SPY, breakdown on Apple. So if at any point we do push up above here on Apple, new highs on SPY, highs on oops, they're the highs on McDonald's. So essentially, all I'm trying to say is be careful here on the sells if you do take them. I just took them. I'm probably gonna put. Let's see. What's the low day on these? I'm trying to put maybe stop on them, but at the same time, I don't want to get wicked out. I'll probably just sit on them for a few minutes. Maybe in a couple minutes after we price moves a couple dollars from here or something, I'll see if I could put trailing stops or some shit. For now, I'm just sitting on them. I'm gonna give it a few minutes, but I do want to see the breakdown off these levels. Any new higher highs, I might just take the trade off. And look at Costco pushing into 1,000. Not necessarily. We obviously still have $7 to go, but once you get into these areas, those $7 can come rather fast. So again, Costco is a really expensive trade just because of the stock price. But once we come into that 1,000, 1,020 level, I'm for sure going to entertain a trade on Costco. Whether it's selling call spreads or taking puts, I'm going to see what makes sense. Or maybe I'll sell call spreads to finance the puts. I'll see what I decide to do. But I'm telling you guys, no matter what, when Costco trades, in the 1,000 and 1,020 gap fill and closes that gap fill, I'm taking a trade on it. Like, hands down, no doubt. I've been waiting for that shit. So I'll let you guys know when that happens, but keep an eye on it yourself if you want to take a trade on it. I think that's going to be a really clean setup. If you got the capital to sell spreads, you want to sell some spreads, take advantage of the premiums to finance some puts. Not a bad idea. Would have been good on Netflix too. What is Netflix at? Oof. All right, so I'm gonna wait. But the day that Costco comes into its gap fill, I'm probably gonna sell preems on Cost and Netflix. And keep in mind, Netflix has earnings this week on Thursday. Is it after hours? I think it's after hours, which I don't get. I don't know if futures are still open Friday. I think they might be. Just stocks are closed Friday. If not, I don't know how that would work out, but I'll look into it. But yeah, Netflix and Costco shorts. Hopefully by tomorrow, if targets get delivered, would be nice. Berkshire, cool little sell here. But again, if we don't give up support, we're not going to see new lows. So remain tactical on that one. Did anyone take it right now when I mentioned it? I know Pilo was already in it. 520 is cool because you got to swing though. Because think about it, gang. You looking for a bang for your buck, your budget. You're like, yo, I want to swing. I got to play for 425 to hold me down. Strike's not something ridiculous where you're like, yo, that's just never gonna happen. Like, bro, we were just at 460. Yeah, it might be out the money, but shit ain't gonna be out the money if we trading at 460 in 2 weeks. You're gonna be $60 in the money. So you gotta look for something that fits your budget and it fits the levels, and trade makes sense. You're somewhere in the middle where it's like, hey, I'm not paying all the upfront premium, but I can still pocket all this other premium. So that's solid. I ain't mad at that, bro. You gotta work with the levels. Yeah, bro. Look at SPY though. Yikes. So SPY trying to hold, and then Apple is literally bouncing off the lows. I want to see breakdowns here, or I'm gonna take off Berkshire while it's still green, or even break even or small red. I'll take a break even or small red any day. So let's see what happens here. But again, I want to see breakdown on Apple or SPY, or I'm taking that off. And then GLD back above EQ. Why you at me, bro? What a Netflix, or I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, I'm watching both of those, Netflix and Costco. And again, you probably wouldn't want to buy puts on it. Can you make money buying puts? Sure, but they're gonna be expensive unless you're selling calls to finance it. Maybe not the best idea. If you want to sell calls, just sell calls. That's fine. If you want to just buy puts, that's fine. But I do think the more favorable trade might be selling the calls, just because puts are gonna be expensive. Maybe sell the calls only on Costco, just because Netflix has earnings this week. You don't want to see like a monstrous report. Netflix gaps up $100 or some shit. Now you max loss on the spread. But I do think the risk to reward is nice on that. We'll see what's up. Closer into so they report earnings after the close Thursday. So either Thursday or Wednesday, assuming we get the targets we want. I'll discuss potentially putting those trades on when the time comes. So I'm gonna probably take off Berkshire here, just because I'm not really liking what I'm seeing on SPY here. SPY pushing higher, going for that breakout potentially, and Apple holding the support and might also try to go for a breakout. So flipping my 3-minute timer here, to be honest with you guys. I'm not really trying to force a trade here. Are the levels clean? Can it pay? Sure. But the upside is also potentially viable here. So I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'm going to give this trade, like I said, 3 minutes. If I don't get selling pressure and a breakdown below here, I'm going to probably just reduce size, risk, or total on this. I'm telling you guys, I think the market's probably going to go higher into those targets we discussed before pushing back lower. So I'd rather just be patient and wait before putting any size on any swings. Any premium you burn right now can be capital you could have used, next week for really good swings. So just keep it in mind. Sure, there's always another setup, but you don't want to be burning capital on bad setups. Nice. So Apple now below, which makes me feel a tiny bit more confident sitting in those sales on Berkshire. McDonald's, like I said, bounced off of that EQ and SPY back at the highs. So as long as Apple stays below levels and continues to push below, I might sit on that Berkshire a bit longer. But I do want to see the breakdown on Berkshire as well. There we go. So nice little selling pressure here on Berkshire. Nothing crazy, but it's progress. I'll take it. Oh, look at Apple though. And shorty said drop it low. So yeah, rejected off those highs. SPY delivered targets, failed to get back above. So good progress here on Berkshire. Now let's see if we can lose the level we mentioned losing earlier, which we failed to do so. So if we do lose these lows, that's going to be progress to the downside, and we'll probably get our 532 targets, where I'll consider taking at least partials, and then maybe we go back below EQ and break down, which I'm not going for. Can it happen? Sure. That's not my target. My target, again, is into that 532. I'll take partials here maybe, and then see what happens. This trade has potential to go down to 460 in the coming maybe 2 weeks or something, so just be mindful. Can we break down much lower? Yes, but again, this is a tactical scalp for me, at least for this specific entry I took. and we're holding support here. So again, if we don't give that up, uh, be mindful we're probably gonna bounce from these levels. And SPY still trying to hold that support. So look at that. Apple broke down, now lower. SPY still holding support. So something to take note of. And there's that bounce again on Berkshire off support. Let's see if we start pushing above 535. I might just take those off. So anywhere above here, maybe exit for myself. I want to see a roll over here like we're doing, but anywhere above here, I'm probably just call it myself. Just because Apple's threatening a breakout, SPY's probably threatening a higher breakout. McDonald's again bounced off EQ and also threatening a breakout back above that 315.85 sales level, which would then invalidate the sales above that, right? So if McDonald's is about to invalidate sales, Berkshire's bouncing off of support, Apple's bouncing, SPY's holding support, that doesn't give me the most confidence to hold myself. So a minute ago, when I said, hey, Apple's losing support, great. But that's not the case anymore. We're now having upticks while Berkshire's coming in support. So you always want to look for clues across multiple names, not just rely solely on one individual name. Like Netflix here, for example. This is a massive, beautiful move. Let's see. I might regret doing this. I'm probably not going to do it. Fuck that. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to at least look at the premiums, though. I got to at least check premiums. What are they charging for this shit? So they're charging... it's not the widest profit margins. They're charging like around 3K per contract on Netflix at the money. Oh, Berkshire, sheesh. You scared me, buddy. Thought you weren't gonna do it. What the fuck happened, bro? I looked at my phone for 1 second to look at Netflix. So Spike clearly gave us the breakdown back to support here. Apple also broke down. McDonald's, let's see if we get back below EQ. And then Berkshire might give me that 532. Or you look away for 1 second. Oh, let's see. All right, nice low reds here across the board. Berkshire almost at that 532. I want one more new low on Berkshire here, hopefully. Shit, I should have taken Spy. Spy's paying way more than Berkshire here, but it is what it is. Some 0DTs off the top there would have been cool. Coming into support here, though. This is the area we wanted to see the breakdown below, which we failed to get. Now we're coming back into that area. So key question here is, are they going to hold the support and bounce back up? Or are they going to trigger below? So moment of truth here into these lows. And Berkshire's about to give me that 532, so I might just go ahead and take some here myself. I was actually going to fuck around and try to sell some covered calls on Netflix, but we already got a couple red ticks. Not going to get my fills here. I'm just going to focus on my scalps. So depending when, where, what you got in on Berkshire, I'm up about 50% here. Definitely taking some. Anybody catch Berkshire? So yeah, there's that 532 TP for the scalp I discussed. Can we go lower on the swing on higher time frames? Sure. But I took it as a scalp with size, so I can de-risk here a bit and hold more and leave them as swings if I really wanted to. But again, my trade was a tactical one. I'm taking some profits here. Spy into that bottom range where we can potentially hold and act as a support before bouncing lower. We wicked off that level, and Apple coming down into the bottom zone of the gap, which again, keep in mind the comments from this morning. Forget all this bullshit that went on. Remember the only levels that mattered this morning. The breakout above 201.25, which we got that little breakout, fake out, whatever you want to call it, and the breakdown below 199.50. So here, keep it tactical. Don't get distracted. Don't assume. Literally just react. Below 199.50, you're going to get the breakdown. Back above 201.25, we're going back above for the breakout. So in this zone, there's not much to do. If you shorted tactically at the highs, you made money, great. Into these lows, this is where you're securing profits. If you want to buy the dip into these lows, that's fine. Stop out on the breach of the lows. But this area is not the area, where you start entering trades unless you were short and now you're trying to go long. You stay tactical and remember the ranges. Below 199.50, we're breaking down. Below 201.25, we're breaking out, which is exactly what we did earlier. And now you got to stay tactical again back in this range. And Berkshire right into that TP. If you took profits, again, I had 50%, so nice little win here. If you didn't take profits into a tactical scalp, you just lost some premiums. So again, if you're trading tactically and scalping, you should be fine. If you try swinging stuff, it gets a little harder. Not saying you can't swing, you can, but that was a tactical scalp. So let's see if they manage to trigger new lows. And again, look at where SPY bounced, right off of where I said earlier when we were here that we can come down into here and bounce before heading higher, and Apple back into the bottom range and bouncing above 201.25 again on Apple. I would say confirms that potential breakout to the upside. Still in the range, you can stay watching puts or both sides if you'd like. And then we got a little rejection on Berkshire here. So previous support now becomes forward resistance. Let's see if this can remain resistance and we push lower, or if they reclaim that level. Let's see what GJ is doing. So dollar up, GJ down. That's nice. Bitcoin down a bit, which is cool, but we had not met my upside targets yet. That's actually fine. So again, if you're in Berkshire and we push back above this zone, be careful being short. We did meet targets where you should have de-risked if possible. If you didn't, it is what it is. But now you want to watch this level here. Back above here, you definitely don't want to be sitting on sells. Technically, if I'm not mistaken, the sells aren't done yet per what I'm seeing on the Forex side. Again, I might be mistaken, but the sells might not be done yet. These are intraday fast comments from these levels. I'm not talking long term, just from right now, next few minutes. But yeah, you have GG coming down a bit. USD CAD has higher upside targets. SPY looks like it's gonna go down for that 538.15ish wick we just left. But again, might be mistaken. Don't force trades. Just comments off what I'm seeing on the Forex side. We're about to fill wicks on USD CAD. If you missed your exit earlier and you get any new lows, don't miss your opportunity this time around. Like I said, can this become a potential swing where we flush next few days? Sure. But I have never gonna want to force a trade, especially not without confirmation. So like I said, any new lows, if you're still in any shorts and you want to take profits on the new lows, go for it. And if you didn't take profits, any new highs, consider potentially getting out before it becomes maybe a loss. Apple's going to be the number one key here. Like I said, in this range, you should not be doing much other than waiting. New lows, you can continue sitting on sells. If they bounce off here and get the breakout, then definitely don't be short. Take the longs, pick your side. But in this box, just wait. Like I said, if I had to guess, we're heading lower, but still within ranges. So let's see. Can it? Sure. Would I bet on it? Not necessarily. I'd rather stay short gold. So look, my thesis on gold of how it's gonna play out is we have so many freaking gaps that we're gonna flush huge. And I mean, what we did the last week to the upside or to the downside. Sorry, to the upside the last week or two. We're probably gonna do to the downside maybe in 1 week. The way gold trades is it's kind of like Bitcoin, not necessarily, but somewhat. So you're gonna have your big whipsaws. I wouldn't call them whipsaws, but it trends very cleanly. So right now we've been holding the uptrend. Right now they're distributing a lot. They've been distributing past few weeks, heavy into these highs. So when they actually do manipulate prices back lower, when they're done with their distribution, you're gonna have that manipulation leg come lower rather quickly and in a very big size. So if you want to, I'm not sure if you're asking because you're scared of the gold shorts, I'm assuming. Like I said, this leg. So let's walk you through the price action. Matter of fact, I think I have it up here. No, I did it on, well, I do have it here, but we did it on gold, XAU USD. So look, this is the price action, right? Couple weeks back. This was original sell, paid, came down to the lows. We broke out back to the original all-time high resistance, right? So this was your resistance, all-time high, right at the 1618. Now you had your liquidity sweep, fake out, grab, whatever you want to call it. And what have we been doing? Just distributing up here. So they're distributing all of their longs. So I'm assuming once they do get the breakdown, like I said, we have much lower targets. This is going to be your first leg down to where we originally broke out from. Your second leg down is going to be to the targets where we were at last week. And then below that, you have much lower targets, right? This is your monthly open, by the way. So these are monthly levels. What happens once you give up the monthly levels? You have a huge range. So sure, can we see all-time highs potentially? But I'm targeting this huge range. So can we see a tiny squeeze higher from here? Maybe. But I'd still be interested in the sells because I see the massive range we have. And we are breaking out here, guys. So let me go back to everything. So look at the bounce on Apple off the lows. SPY trying to push higher from these levels we discussed. McDonald's never went back to retest EQ. And Berkshire into resistance here. So like I said, if we do get the breakout above resistance here on Berkshire, I'm just going to go ahead and call it in the rest of my contracts. And you guys should also be careful here if still short. Technically still viable as a short. Apple has not broken back above that 201.25 breakout level and still in the range. So let's see what happens. Go in short. What do you have in your port, bro? You got anything else, or would gold be your only trade? Do you have other trades? How much capital do you have? You trying to swing, I'm assuming? I need McDonald's back under EQ. Let's see if it manages to do that so I could unload some. If not, fuck it. It is what it is. I had a small win on it earlier at the lows. Should have taken those off. I don't have too much size though. It's cool. So if you don't have many positions in your port, I wouldn't mind the shorts. I usually take 0 DT. Okay, so you're asking me if you can take 0 DT on gold today? Is that what you're asking? First of all, they don't have 0 DT. They have 1 day expiration, which is okay. If you're asking me to take a 1 day expiration here on gold, is that your question? Can you take a scalp 0 DT on gold here? If that's the question, let me know and I'll give you an answer. But I would much rather you guys get in on swings that I've been telling you guys. You're gonna burn capital in chops like these when you could have just waited and maybe loaded swings and still gotten paid out. Versus if we keep chopping in the zone on the next day or two, you're probably just gonna get finesse here on the chop. Can you make money if you're tactical? Sure, but if you're not, it's gonna be hard. All right, fuck it. Let's see. So you're at an optimal trade entry. It's okay. I'm not opposed. You can come down, open gaps. Let's check the 45s. We got 30 minutes left on the 45. Filled all the upside. All right, let's see. So assuming two things. One, Apple is going to reject off of these highs and push lower, and the rest of the market is also going to roll over, then I would be okay with the gold sells. But I don't think that's going to happen. They're probably going to go for the breakout here, so you might want to refrain from it. If they do happen to roll over, then I'd say gold is okay. So this is gold here. It looks a little differently. You probably know it as GLD, but again, that's gold. So if you want to short it here tactically, something like this. Whoops, wrong one. That's long. I wouldn't be mad at it. So you can short here, put your stops maybe above point of control, target the lows we were at this morning down to here, right? That's a potential trade for a scalp. So if that's what you're asking me and that's what you want to take, that's the setup. I'm okay with it. Just be mindful. Again, you need the rest of the market to roll over here. So Apple come back down below that 201.25 buys trigger we discussed. Then sure, these trades to the downside can work. Berkshire new lows, gold to the downside, SPY down, Apple down, that's fine. But like I said, above that, probably not, which we currently are above. So be mindful if you're on the short side, Apple's triggering back above its long trigger. No closures yet, but just watch. So again, that's a setup here on gold to the short side on the OTE. I'm thinking of put for a week. To be honest with you, you can, but just risky holding stuff overnight right now. If you're gonna trade for a week, you might as well just go cash end of day and just rescalp next day, rescalp next day. If you mean a week, as in next week, that's fine. If you mean 417, then pretty much the same shit. Your 416 is Wednesday expiration, and then 417 is Thursday. Markets don't trade Friday, so you in reality you don't have that many days. There's the entry here. So again, if you wanted to take whether the weekly or the 0 DT, that's your call, but those are the levels. But again, on the conditions that Apple is going to flip here and we're not going to rally higher. If we do rally higher, this ain't going to drop. Let's watch Netflix again. So earlier I couldn't get filled and I didn't. I'm going to see here. I just want to see what they quote me. I want to see if it even makes sense from a statistical perspective. See how much cash I could get. Berkshire trying to give up support again here. Let's see if it managed to do so. Trying to see if they'll give me an order on Netflix. The numbers don't look too bad. Just trying to see if they actually fill it. Let's see if Apple could get back below that 201.25 levels on watch here. But again, gold looks clean here. If anybody wanted to take it, I'm still trying to get filled on that Netflix, trying to fight the books right now. It doesn't look too bad. I'm leaving room on my orders in case I needed to add. Let's say we pop a little higher on Netflix into 1,000, and I need to sell something a little higher into later this week before earnings. I'll consider doing that. But the orders are stubborn. Well, not the orders. I'm stubborn. If I just wanted to fill for a shitty price, I could get it. But I'm trying to get okay fills on that. So let's see if I manage to do that. I'll update you guys. But like I said, selling spreads above here on Netflix does not seem like a terrible idea. But we got earnings this week, so be careful. Going for gold short for today low. It's not bad. Just again, if you want to take it, be mindful of the levels. The lower we get, the riskier it gets. You have a test at EQ. Below EQ, you could get paid out a bit more. EQ is going to be 296.60. So you have about $1, not less than $1. You have about, I don't know, 70-cent drop from here till then, which is okay. Not a big profit margin to play with, but you're not really aiming for those 70 cents. You want lower. But yeah, test there. Not a terrible entry if you want to take it. And then again, you need Apple below 201.25, which it might come here. If it holds above, not the best entry. But if we do start pushing lower across the rest of the market, like I mentioned, this one can pay you as well. My order's still working for Netflix. I'm debating what to do. Oh yeah, definitely not getting filled now. Fuck it. All right, out of mind, out of sight. I'm not touching Netflix. I didn't get filled. Fuck it. It is what it is. I'm not chasing that shit. Nice low reds here on Berkshire. Let's see what we get. Let me know if anyone took anything. I'm still in a few Berkshire. Again, if we don't get the breakdown here, I'm gonna just take off the rest. Gold, I did not add here. I still have the original trades. If anyone added for the short I mentioned today, great. You should be a little green. But again, keep an eye on Apple. It's above 201.25. As long as above, I'd say markets are bullish. If they do manage to get back below those levels, then bears could get paid out a little bit. A lot of names still have upside targets though. Just be mindful. Like Costco, that 1,000, 1,020 level I mentioned earlier and I've been mentioning with you guys, we still haven't done it. So the proper thing to do, in my opinion, is just wait, be patient, wait on the sidelines until we fill these gaps, then take trades to the downside. But there's no guarantee we fill those. If I had to guess, sure, we do. Then we can get some nice sales. But again, no guarantee we get up there. Gold, nice little greens here on the sell side if you took them. But the rest of the stock market, like Apple, is starting to break out, so just be mindful. level you really want to see under for gold is 296.83. If that happens, then we can see nicer. Well, yes and no. Southside liquidity first area and then EQ. So small loop pocket to watch here. We can bounce from it. We clear that. We'll probably see low a day, maybe even lower. Apple's pushing higher here. Careful. I'm gonna probably just take off Berkshire here. Not gonna lie, guys. Technically, I can give it up until like 535 if I wanted to, but maybe not. You still in Berkshire, Pilo, or you took it off? Not today, to be honest with you, nobody. I rather wait for levels to resolve themselves. We're in between ranges. I don't like initiating or issuing swings between ranges. I rather wait till we have a clear tactical level I can swing off of, which I'm telling you guys, I think probably into tomorrow, maybe into Thursday, we get upside targets filled, which is when I'd much rather issue swings. Right now, it's hard for me to issue swings to the downside when we have upside targets, and it's also hard for me to issue upside targets from these levels considering how much we've already ran off the lows, and we still have lower targets. So at this point, I don't think it's optimal to enter swings. Maybe give it, like I said, a day or two. If we get those targets into Wednesday, Thursday, and close gaps across the board, then I'll tell you guys, hey, I'm loading the fuck up on swings, which I do plan on doing. But this ain't the time, in my opinion. You're making a mistake here if you're loading swings. You're probably a couple days early, maybe a week early at most. But I might be mistaken. We'll see. Just trust me, I'm telling you guys, save your capital. If you have a little bit of money in your accounts, don't force trades. Save that capital for when those swings do present themselves, and you'll put yourself in a really nice position. All right, at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and call it on those. I'm gonna probably end up net small win or maybe break even. Let's see. Should have just booked full earlier for 50%. Got squeezed out. I forgot what you were in. Were you in the puts or in the calls, Ramiro? Both sides looked okay, not gonna lie. Yes. What the? I thought I pulled up Wells Fargo. Calls. Okay. Not bad. Again, if we get above 65.4-ish, 65.5, maybe we'll go higher. What the? Oh, I did it over here. I did bring it up. But for now, as long as we're below this top range, like I said earlier, we're gonna have a whole cluster of resistance to the left. Can we go higher? Yes. But resistance to the left. Above this is when you get your next squeeze higher, which would coincide with the markets breaking out. Wells Fargo, Apple, etc. XLF is a major component. The banking sector is a big component of the SPY. So if you do have banks rallying, like the entire XLF next few days rallying, you know, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, JPM, you name it, you're probably gonna see, oh, look at that. You're probably gonna see a breakout back to retest these levels we broke down from, and that would coincide with the breakout on SPY to the upside. So if XLF in the banking sector delivers this, that should help SPY make its next push up. So let's focus SPY. We are currently here, right? We need that next boost up. And like I said, XLF, if we do get that breakout on the banking sector here, it can deliver that. But like I said, you need to be mindful of what we are coming into. So this entire zone resistance, if they deliver this and break above previous week high, then we're going to have a massive squeeze. Even this is a relatively decent size squeeze. But for now, you have this whole cluster here. So just keep that in mind. I know you already have the trade, but if this banking sector does break out from here, like I said, it's going to take the SPY much higher, which is our thesis. SPY should go higher. So it needs all the help it can get. Help from Apple, help from Help from Apple, help from Spy, help from everybody. Ooh, that is a nasty wick. Look at where it happened though. Yes, the size is important, but the place it happened in is the real issue. So look, this used to be support, right? Then it became forward resistance. Rejection. Now left this massive wick, and you will have this wick here too. So do they come fill these wicks? Probably. But again, it's just an issue of where. So if you're buying, you always want to buy low into supports. If you're shorting, you want to buy into resistance. I get it. You might see these huge moves and say, hey, we're about to break out here. Let me get long here. It's not the correct thing to do. Sure, from here, time and time, we might actually do something like this and get the breakout. So I'm not telling you guys it's never going to work. But generally, majority of the time, if you're going long into resistance or going short into support, you're making a mistake. Again, it's not 100% of the time. You might get away with it here and there, and the trades work out. But majority of the time, you're not gonna. It's not gonna work out. So you definitely be careful with that. Uh, so yeah, watch banks. Can they push higher? Yes, but they have a bit of a problem to the left here. And then gold might give up south side here. Not quite yet. So I'm gonna give Berkshire a couple minutes. Hopefully we get the breakdown here so I could get out green. But if we do fail to give the breakdown here, I'm gonna just call it. Fuck it. I was about to take off higher anyway. Ah, foot. Berkshire. Ooh, nice red. Nice reds. If we get low a day again across the board, I'm not gonna hesitate to take some off. So earlier when McDonald's was into EQ, I was debating, do I hold, do I not hold? I was hoping for new lows, didn't get it clearly. Uh, but across the board, McDonald's, Berkshire, any of my shorter time frame swings, which means literally weeklies. I don't have 0 DTs, but my weeklies, I don't plan on sitting on too much longer, just because, like I said, the upside potential is still there. Not planning on forcing these trades. If I do get another drop to the lows, I'm definitely taking off everything. And if not, I'll take it off regardless. But obviously, I'd rather take it off on the drop than up here. So I did take some off earlier for Berkshire on the lows. I took off decent positions, but I have some left. And then McDonald's, I did not take any off, so I fucked up on that one. But it is what it is. Win or lose, isn't necessarily the outcome. Like, hey, did I make money? Did I lose money? Sure, that's important, but end of the day, you want to just focus on doing the correct thing. There's sometimes where you might do something you know was incorrect and end up making money anyway. Doesn't necessarily mean it was a good trade, good risk management, good whatever. Just you got lucky. So or whatever. So generally, I'm not concerned on the outcome. Yes, it sucks when you lose money as a byproduct, But as long as you're following your strategy, your system, and doing the correct thing, you should be fine. And in retrospect, the correct thing was taking some off into EQ, which I knew, did not do, got greedy, is what it is. But now here we are. So let's see what happens with that. But again, just do the correct thing in trading and you'll be fine in the long run. Don't necessarily worry about P&L, wins, losses. Yes, like I said, it's important. But if you're just doing the correct thing day in, day out, it's going to show on your account. Now I don't know if anybody saw the post I sent last night about Spy. You are here. That's real, by the way. Would you win, normal guy, or why is it pissing you off? Yeah, we have been chopping a little bit in here. If you're in OTE, definitely gonna fuck with you. I still think we're going higher, being honest with you guys, but let's see what develops. Where's the post from yesterday? Oh, here it is. Oh, how can we do this? So, all right, I'm gonna go off topic real quick just to show you guys the chart. Be mindful of levels. Everyone watch your own levels for a second. Looks like they're about to go for the breakout here, but be mindful. So I'll try to make this as quick as possible just to show you guys what I'm talking about. So assuming this is the high, right? You see this? I'm gonna line this up with the markets. So this is 60%, right? About structural correction, which is what we're aiming for, a structural correction. So let's see what that would look like. 60%. How do we find that? Zoom out. Should I go on a weekly? Yeah, probably. Okay, so here we are on a weekly. Go to the highs, to the lows. Aim for your 60%, which we're not gonna fit. We gotta zoom out a bit more. Let's do monthly. So a structural correction is 60%, right? Which is here. You see these COVID lows? Literally perfect 60%. I'm gonna go ahead and aim for this bottom wick just cause. So let's align this chart, lows, 60% correction, to the, whoops, to the highs. We need to make this smaller. Tiny bit smaller. It's not gonna get any better than that. Whoops, wrong button. Not gonna get any better than that. So you see, we got the highs, we got the lows. This is what a 60% correction looks like. The quote unquote metaphorical "you are here." We're not. Oh, I did not want to do that. We are not literally here. It's just for representation of around where we are. And keep in mind, this is around 516, the lows we were at. We're not even there anymore. We're up here around 541, 545. And like I said, we can push into 587 maybe. Not don't have to, we can for the upper extreme range. So within this is where we are trading. We are currently here and we still have this entire way down to go in my opinion. Maybe as low as the COVID lows. Can we go lower? Sure. But for now, I'm aiming for COVID lows to be the market bottom, or at least a sizable bottom. Can we go lower? Sure. But again, this is on average what you aim for on a structural correction, which is kind of around where we are here. And we have this entire way down to go. So just be mindful going forward when you're trading the markets, trying to buy dips. I get it. It seems like, oh, market's down 20-30%, super amazing deals we're never going to get again in our lifetime. I get it seems that way, but trust me, you're going to see much lower prices that I'd much rather you guys save money for here at the highs. So someone who's been trying to build a long-term portfolio, you don't have a big portfolio or one at all, And people are saying, oh, well, buy a couple shares of Nvidia or this or Tesla or whatever stocks are down a lot. Buy a couple shares at a time. That's fine, sure. But I'm telling you guys, these stocks are going to go much lower. I'd much rather you guys just save the money to the side and buy whatever amount of stocks you want to buy in whatever names, but at the lows in a year down the line or whenever it comes. So I'm not opposed to buying the dip. I just don't think this is the area to do it. And be mindful if you want to take advantage of long-term capital gains tax, you got to hold for minimum a year. So I think you're better off just waiting, seeing much better lows, and then holding those longs on the stock for a year if levels allow. I don't think you'll be able to sit on longs from these levels for a year, if I'm being honest with you guys. Much lower, yeah, not here though. Yeah, we still ranging. Uh, Normal guy, yes and no. You also got to be careful with swings because you can still get chopped on a swing if we're trading within ranges like gold has, for example. But we did mention SPY, target, upside, potential rejection, rejected, bounce off this low, got the bounce off the low. Now we're still below resistance. So unless we get above this, tactically, I guess you could be short targeting back to lows. And then if we do break out above that, we're pushing higher. One thing I do like here is McDonald's is finally giving us some type of selling pressure. So hopefully that can trigger here. Apple still not at the highs. Berkshire into resistance levels. So it's not quite over for the Bears just yet. But they do got to step up here. Intraday comments, by the way. I'm not talking higher time frame. Focus solely on the 3-minute comments. So look, I know I told you guys, hey, it's not time for the swings yet. Just wait, just wait, just wait. If we do manage to get the targets I'm aiming for, again, doesn't have to happen. But if that scenario does play out, and we do deliver those targets, that's when I'm going to go ahead and start the challenge for you guys. Not necessarily a challenge, I don't want to call it a challenge, but that's when I'm going to start the small account build to show you guys how to do it with those swings. And hopefully you guys could load them up. Ideally, I want to do maybe like 1K to 10K maximum a month, give or take. Don't want to force trades, but if levels allow, I think that could be fairly easily done. But again, I want to wait for ideal entries, which can be here, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. So next week, I'm probably going to start that one just because I don't think we can fill the upside targets by tomorrow or Thursday, but I myself think realistically it might not happen until next week. And that's going to be a mixture of swings and scalping. So yo, I'm not sure if you're in here today. Uh, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, so my bad. Excuse me if I don't pronounce it right. But Suramala, I think that was it. You left a comment yesterday. You hit me up on WAP. I replied on WAP. Let me know if you're in here. Check that out. And if not, it's cool. I'll send you an email or something. UVXY downticks here. So let's see what happens. Does SPY get the breakout above resistance level? Small downticks on gold. So interesting here. And then McDonald's at the lows again. I might just cut these here. Just because if we do get the breakout here on SPY and Apple to the upside, McDonald's is also going to try to push back above 317 plus, or maybe 317ish. And I definitely don't want to be holding on to the sales then. So maybe not a bad idea to take them off here. We'll see what happens the next 2-3 minutes. look at gold under Southside now. Nice. I bet I was on my phone taking care of some stuff. All right, so SPY still threatening that breakout here. Be mindful if you guys are still short. Like I said, from the morning comments the entire day, if they go up from these levels and threaten the breakout, they will deliver the breakout. So Apple's above levels unless they manage to get back below 201.25. I'd say tactically, you should refrain from being short. If something changes, then sure. But right now, I do think they're gonna try to go for that upside. The only ones that are giving me a tiny bit of hope is McDonald's, but again, we're right into support. So like I've told you guys before, generally you do not want to short into support. You rather buy into support, short into resistance. So I would assume they're going to try to bounce it off these lows. Berkshire into resistance slash support. Could be both here. Depending if they hold it, they're going to try to spring off of it. If they lose it, they're going to come back towards these lows. So Berkshire, clean level to watch. One I do really like the developments on is gold. So below Southside liquidity, but like I told you guys earlier, until we don't manage to get below EQ, it's not going to be the most significant progress. And now Berkshire above, probably going to bounce from here on McDonald's. SPY's probably going to break out above these levels, and Apple might do the same. So if you're short, be careful. I'm probably just going to go ahead and book here full across the board on the size I have left and call it. Like I said, I'm not being super aggressive just because on the higher time frame I don't really like the setups. If we had those gaps closed, wick fills across the board, and etc., I'd be a lot more aggressive with the sells. Uh, but at this point, I still think the market has maybe a day or two higher to squeeze. Maybe even longer. Like I said, it can come in a day, it can come in 2 days. You guys saw, what was it last week on that tariff news? Those buys came essentially in a day. So massive buying was in a day. Be mindful something like that can happen again. And one day or two later, you might be, getting squeezed a couple bucks. So I'd much rather just wait here. But I will issue a lot of swings when the time is right. Like I said, Costco still has upside. A lot of names still have upside. Just be patient, guys. Don't force yourselves. Give it another couple of days into targets. Then we can load up. But yeah, I'm probably gonna go ahead and call it here early. If anybody needs help with something, let me know. We're probably gonna get that breakout here. So again, if you're short, just be careful. And if you wanted to get long, your call. Not something I do again here into the top range. If you wanted to try it down here into support, when I mentioned it, not bad. And at this point, you'd consider taking profits versus letting runners run and going for that breakout. But definitely not the best area to start longs here. Fairly easily would. I forgot what I said or what y'all talking about. Uh, but for loss in this range, yeah, this range on Berkshire is pretty shit. Not gonna lie. Well, in general, we've been ranging for a bit. Want to see what happens. So the SPY is ping ponging between these levels. Not much to do here, being honest with you guys. I do want to see some weakness on Apple, and then, like I said, back below 201.25 and push below changes the dynamic. But for now, as long as they're above supports levels, you gotta respect the support. Until supports are invalidated, like here, EQ on gold, you gotta assume it's gonna bounce. I'm not telling you it will, but just assume. If it doesn't bounce and we head lower, that's good for you. But generally, you want to assume the worst so you can be prepared for that situation. And then if you get the best possible scenario, great. But you are ready for the worst. McDonald's, similar comments coming into EQ here. Assume we're gonna bounce until we get confirmation and closure below. But definitely some okay developments here. I was literally about to say I'm hopping off stream, and now I might have to stick around. Let's see what gold does. So the two with the clearest levels here, I would say, are McDonald's and gold, just because they're testing supports versus Berkshire and Spire into resistance. We can definitely slip from these resistance levels, but we'd be trading back within the range. If McDonald's gives up these lows, we'd be trading at new lows on the day. So that's progress. And then, like I said, assume we're going to bounce. There's the bounce. Now, McDonald's moment of truth. Does McDonald's also bounce at EQ or give us the trigger below? What do you guys prefer? So I've been trying to do a mix of both, but I haven't really been doing too much in Discord. Would you guys prefer, let's say, I don't really want to get off charts right now, but let's say I just sent a bunch of write-ups in Discord where I tell you guys, okay, buy calls, let's say 586 call or something at 100 or whatever price on a breakout of this level, and then trim calls up here at 200 on take profit. Obviously, this looks shitty as fuck. I'm doing it hand drawn, but imagine something like this with a lot more detail, targets, resistance levels, etc. Would you guys rather see write-ups, writing and charts like this in the Discord, or do you guys prefer the verbal comments, intraday action, calling out stuff in real time? Because they both have their benefits, but I am trying to focus more on the one you guys prefer. So they both have their advantages and disadvantages. But realistically, I don't think I can do both. So I either focus on the write-ups and the charts in the Discord, or I focus on the live callouts. So I want to do a mix of both, but if there's a preference for you guys, then I can maybe try to do one more than the other. If you're here in the live room all day, I'm sure maybe live might be a little easier. Those of you that aren't really in here all day, you're probably gonna prefer the ones in the room, so you could just come in and copy paste trades or whatever. But bottom line is just understanding the action and learning. Like, I get it. I want to get you guys to make money. That's not my goal. My goal is to teach you guys basics of trading, how to take your own trades. Can you make money as a byproduct? Sure, but the idea is for you guys to learn, not just take trades. McDonald's bounced off EQ here, so like I said, assume we're bouncing and we're getting bounces here. I'm gonna just go ahead and call it probably. I still have about a minute on my sand timer, but I doubt we're gonna breach the lows, and if they don't do that, you should be out. Look at that bounce on Apple, nasty off that support. I wouldn't be surprised if markets are trading much higher next couple days. So let's see what happens. And McDonald's trigger. Let's see. I'm going on mute for about 2 minutes. Having the write up keeps you from missing them when you can't stay online. Yes, I get it, Sarah, but you also have to keep in mind, like I said, it's a little hard to do both. If I focus just on the write ups, then cool, it's just the write ups. But when I'm trying to keep up with the action on several different names, update levels, comments, help people with their trades, take my trades, it's a little hard to do both. So that's why I'm asking you guys, is there a preference? I can try to focus on one more than the other. But it's realistically hard for me to do everything. So that's why I'm trying to get some feedback from you guys, see what you prefer. I get it. It stays in the Discord. You can see the write up a week from now, today, in an hour. And you have clear levels and whatnot. So I understand that aspect. So I'm trying to see what you guys think works best. Okay. So like I said, maybe I'll try doing Discord as a priority for a bit, see how that works out, see if you guys like it better, are able to take better advantage of trades or whatnot. But I think if I focus on Discord solely, it might help me out a bit too. Because, like I said, I sometimes miss stuff myself for being focused on the live action for you guys, but it's cool. It is what it is. Yeah, that's you're right, Ramiro. So I try to explain my thesis beforehand when I take something, levels of validation, confirmation, invalidation, potential targets, problems, etc. It's a lot harder to do that in a write up, or at least without taking a lot of time. I can just make verbal comments fast versus write ups take a lot more time. Uh, so if I just draw levels on the charts and you know how to interpret it and trade it, you're fine. But a lot of people might see the trade setup and not necessarily know how to read the chart, so that might be an issue. But yeah, like I said, want you guys making money, but the main goal is for you guys to learn. So I'll see what's up. Maybe I'll try to integrate more into the Discord. Just kind of hard to do both. So maybe I'll do like 2 days out the week, Discord only, 3 day stream, or 3 days Discord only, 2 day stream, or something like that. So I could try it out for a day or two, see if you guys like it better, and then we'll see and go from there. We're getting breakouts here, by the way. So like I said, if you're long, want to get long, not the best area to get long here, but they probably will give you the breakout. But for sure, don't really want to be short, or if you are short, be careful. But all right, I'll try that out maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow no stream, and I'll just do Discord, see how that goes, so I can focus on write-ups, charts, all that. Let me know if anybody has questions about anything today. I'm probably gonna call it here myself. Not a big fan of the action. We're probably just gonna bounce here from the lows and go for breakouts, which I don't plan on trading. Like I said, I'll just wait until later this week or whenever we get targets to short. Do like the table you send with levels in the morning. All right, cool. So I'll send more write-ups and all that if you guys want. And then that chart you're mentioning, it's an indicator HTF. So if you guys want to get that for yourselves and have it, that's in the indicator video I made, and all of those are free. And you can modify that table. If you don't trade GJ, you don't trade gold, you don't trade any names of those. You want to modify it to GameStop, Tesla, I don't know, whatever stocks you personally trade, you can do that. So let's cover that real quick. So this is the table, right? It shows you what levels have been tested. Previous month lows levels have been tested across the board. Gray means it's swept and reversed. Green means it's swept and exceeded. You come see the previous day high. Not many names have tested the previous day high other than GJ, Bitcoin, and US30. Uh, so if you saw this chart a week ago, everything on the previous month low was lit up. If you saw this chart on Monday, everything on the previous day high was lit up. So we had a change of hands from sellers to buyers. Right now, they're kind of sitting in the middle. Why? Because we have not tested previous day high. We have not tested previous day low. If you want to get a quick overview of how the market's performing, you can use this. And like I said, if you don't trade any of these names like GJ, if you want to put Tesla up here, you can. Now you have a chart with Tesla levels. But yeah, like I said, all these are free. So if you guys want to add this on your charts, go for it. Test run with Discord would be nice. Yeah, fuck it. We'll see what's up. See what you guys prefer. And like I said, we'll see it. Bottom line is, I just want you guys to learn and be able to profit from it. So if you guys like the Discord system better, it's a little more efficient, helps more people capture trades. I'm definitely for it. So we'll test that out tomorrow. Fuck it. Deborah, I don't think I've seen you in here before, or I'm not sure if you in here. Are you in the Discord? I'm not sure if I've seen you in there or on YouTube. I got people coming in and out, so I'm trying to get familiar with everybody. And then UVXY, assuming the market does break out from here and we get the upside targets we were looking for, we might get a buy back in the 26s, which is kind of like what we did on SOXS. Like I said, if UVXY gives us what SOXS did, we're going to have a beautiful buy on those lows. Again, you don't have to, but it's something I'd be interested in myself. So SOXS down here, UVXY up here. The thesis is I want to see, whoops, I guess that's fine. I want to see UVXY come down into this 26 zone, which is briefly lower or around where SOXS is. So I issued a SOXS buy here. If we get down to these lows, that's fine. I'll rebuy here. For maybe here I'll buy calls. I did not buy calls, I just got shares. But if we do get into these lows, I'll probably buy some calls. Fuck it. And at that point, if UVXY is into this 26 level or anywhere here, I also want to buy UVXY. But again, UVXY is much higher. So way up here. Once it gives us that drop on the market breakout, if it happens, then I'll consider loading up calls on UVXY again. But again, I still think the market's headed higher, so be careful with short. We'll see what's up. Take it slow. Like I said, if we do get these levels I want, and everyone takes advantage of those setups, I should be able to. You guys should be able to make some decent returns. Trust me. Let's see Berkshire here. Every time I want to hop off stream, they tease me again. If you're gonna break down, just break down already. If not, just break out. But these low ranges getting annoying. Let's see. Discord the charts. Yes, to which question? If you're in the Discord, cool for sure. Just don't know who you are in there, but alright for sure. If you're in there, above support still on Berkshire. If we stay above, trades technically null, but I want to see if they manage to slip under. Whoops. Nice breakout on Apple here. So Apple's breaking out here while SPY has not done that. So if I had to guess, SPY is next here. So SPY, we have two scenarios. Either SPY pops here with Apple catches up, or they're both about to get rejected. But this is a tiny, tiny divergence, not major. But when you see stuff like this, so it had been not really trading against each other, not trading in sync. Here they are coming back into sync, so I want to see what they do here. Do they both reject their resistance, or are they going above it? And McDonald's is still sitting at EQ, so that's another one I want to see develop here. Berkshire sitting on support. Relatively choppy day, kind of boring, a little bit of a headache, but ranges are getting really tight, so whichever way we're going to break, whether up or down, they should do it here pretty soon. All right, cool for sure. And again, does anybody have any questions? Just because I'm wrapping it up here myself relatively soon. I'm assuming we're going to break out here, and I'm just going to go ahead and call it stream. Only way I'll stick around for another maybe couple minutes is if they do get the breakdown, which I really doubt. So if anyone has any questions or concerns, if we do break out or how to manage anything for the rest of the day, let me know. But I really hope you guys aren't taking too much stuff. Take it light and just wait till we get the setups I'm looking for myself. If you want to trade in the meantime, go for it. Just be careful. I really hope you guys don't burn good capital, which you could have, used next week or whenever we get the targets for much better quality trades. So to each his own. Just be careful. So McDonald's again. Moment of truth here. All day long, it's been teasing. If we manage to get below EQ, I'm really gonna like the drive lower. Well, hopefully we get a drive lower, which I'd like. But this is technically where we can see this move. Whoops. Which is what would pay us. Previous day low is at 309. I'd be about $6 in the money on the 315s, which would be beautiful. And if we bounce from EQ, fuck it, it is what it is. Call it on those. Bounce off support on Berkshire. And McDonald's might bounce off EQ here. I might just go ahead and call it, not gonna lie, y'all. Fuck it, I'll take the small win here. As opposed to bouncing off support and then going break even to red. And there's a few people in the Discord. I don't know if y'all here on YouTube or if there's anyone watching on YouTube that literally has not made a single trade. You're just watching because you're like, oh shit, I want to learn how to trade, but I don't have an account. I've never traded. I don't know what to do. Like, bro, don't be shy. Like, I'm probably the chillest person. You could just come ask a question about trading, and I'm not gonna be weird about it. You got a question in general about, yo, what broker should I open? What should I do? How much should I open my first account with? Like any general basic questions. Wherever you got access to me, whether it's IG, Twitter, here, Discord, like just tap in, bro. Ask whatever questions y'all want. You haven't started, why haven't you? Like, hey, I'm scared, or hey, I don't have money, or whatever the question. Hey, don't be like, hey, I don't have money. Can I have some money to trade? Fuck that. Don't do that. But whatever your issue is, like, come talk to me. Like, I'll try to help you in any way I can. Like I said, don't come asking me for fucking money, bro. But if you like, oh well, I don't know how to place an order, or I don't have an account, or just any basic shit, I'll help you guys out. Just reach out. But I can't, help you if you don't speak up. You're like, oh well, I don't know how to trade. I've never traded before. I'll walk you through your first order. Hey, press this, sell this, do this. I don't mind that, but you got to put effort from your side too. But yeah, just reach out, bro. People be scared to ask. Like, don't be scared. Worst thing I can do is say no. But I'm not gonna say no. Just fucking, I'll keep it real with you guys. But yeah, ask questions if you got them. Nice little selling here. Below support on Berkey. And McDonald's below EQ. So let's see if these levels stick. But yeah, just hit me up if you guys got questions about anything. Nice little move. Yup. So Apple has those wicks we left this morning. Apple can literally, not saying it happens, but technically if they wanted to, Apple can come down, fill those wicks, hold the lows, or even wick below lows and push higher. So sweep all that liquidity before going higher. Again, not saying that's what happens, but from a technical standpoint, they can do that, hold support, and still be bullish. But if they do start triggering and closing below that 199.50 we discussed, whole different conversation at that point. Let's see McDonald's, bro. You've been kicking it under EQ. We already got closure below on the 3 minute. There's gonna be your confirmation. Hopefully it does it so we can get that drive lower. But yeah, McDonald's just gotta give us some gas right here. Put the chips in the bag, bro. I mean, put the fries in the bag. I'll take a Happy Meal too. Fuck it. I was on mute, my bad, y'all. You want to get out of the trade or just to trail your stops? On Apple or Berkshire, what are you talking about? Because depending the trade, some are better than others. If it has a wide spread, I automatically wouldn't do it. If it's something more liquid, then you might be okay. You could still get wicked though. If it's Berkshire, it's gonna be tough. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I was about to say. If it's Berkshire, bro, you already know the spreads on Berkshire not the best. I'd definitely be mad as fuck if that shit ends up paying you got wicked on the spread, like it didn't even hit your order type shit. So up to you. If you wanna do that, you can, but you're probably better off even trying a conditional. That way, your trade gets invalidated based off of levels and not based invalidated off of a small pullback in premium. So up to you, bro. But keeping it a buck. I mean, you said what 425? I got weeklies. That's why I'm like, yeah, I'm not holding this shit. But you got 425s. Regardless, it's a little iffy. Like I said, if the rest of the market does break out, there's no way Berkshire ain't going for no all-time highs or something. But up to you, fam. You got time. I don't really got time on the weeklies. The only thing I can tell you right now is this is support slash resistance, and they're kind of just dancing around that above 534. Excuse me, a little harder to be short, and then under it, I like the sales a little better, but looks like they're trying to bounce here, so who knows? You might even be better, bruh. Your call, bro. Like I said, my issue is if I don't take them, that's why I'm taking super small size. Because what if you don't take the sales and we do flush, and then you're gonna be like, fuck, I didn't get in on the sales now. So I definitely don't want to just like completely neglect the trades. But I'm telling you guys, I have a feeling they're gonna go higher. So if you want to swing, it's okay. Just don't force it, or make sure you're at least preserving your capital so you could take advantage of those swings next week if we don't get our setups till next week. So think about it. You're loading swings here. What if they go down 50% by next week? If you can add next week, fuck it. But at the same time, it's like, why hold something that might go down 50%? Don't really make sense. And I'm telling you, the only reason I'm trying to tactically take them is because the downside's there. So I don't want to just not try at all. But I'm telling you guys, if they get this breakout, they're going to get squeezed on any short, which is why I'm like hesitant on starting heavy sells. McDonald's nice payouts here, by the way. I'm taking some off for sure. Remember I told you guys earlier, fuck, I didn't take any off, and I should have. Now I'm definitely taking some off. So not making the same mistake twice. But yeah, McDonald's pretty green here. And look at that wick on UVXY. We left a massive wick. If the markets really flip from here, UVXY can do this. So again, anyone who was in McDonald's considered taking some off. I just did. Fuck it. I had 315s and 312.5s. They're both coming in the well. The 315 has been in the money. The 312.5 is coming in the money here, so I'm gonna take advantage of these premiums. Uh, Normal guy, what are you in, bro? Are both of y'all in cause? And I'm streaming, so it's just blocking out your name. Hold on, let me. How do I turn this off? I think it's Adam. The one that said was a long. How do I turn off streamer mode? Whatever. I think it's Adam. Whoever said was in spy calls earlier. Did you take off at any point up here? Did you have one contract? Did you have multiple contracts? Did you trim any? Did you exit, get back in? Or are you writing the same calls that you had in up here? If you're writing the same calls that you had up here, you're making a mistake and you got to learn how to be tactical with your trades. If you did take profit and then got back in on the lows, that's a different story. But especially with something like 0DTE, you can't capture this entire massive move to the upside and say, fuck it, I'm gonna just sit on it. No, bro, take your profits because this move, I guarantee you, even puts you red. Or maybe I don't guarantee you that. Depending on your entry, maybe you didn't go red, but you for sure gave up entire portion of your premiums. On this pop higher, if you went green again or break even or whatever it is, again, if we don't get the breakout and you don't manage, it might be an issue. So just be mindful. But definitely, if you guys are trading 0 days to expiration, you got to be fast. Yeah, so that's clean. If you guys go into Discord, check out what JP just sent. So that's perfect. When you're trading in a range like that, you don't do much. You wait for the breakout, breakdown, and then you trade the ranges. So right now we're at a pinpoint between the two pivots. So great call out here by JP. But yeah, ideally, don't want to do too much when you're in the middle of a range. I just took off some McDonald's here. Solid win. Fuck it. I'm gonna probably call it here, guys. Or maybe I'll leave the stream running. I'm gonna go on mute for a couple minutes. I'll leave the stream running, see if we get these lower targets again on Berkshire and other names. Just see what develops, so I can call out the action. Hopefully they buy this dip, but I'd wait and refrain from buying any dips until they fill wicks to the downside, if trying to get long. And if short, depending what you're short, like McDonald's, I definitely took some off just because it's paying. Berkshire not really paying, if I'm being honest with you guys. If we get back towards the lows, then I'll definitely take some off. So I'm gonna go on mute a couple minutes here. Let's see what happens. All right, so I'm still here, guys. I'm muted. One key thing I want to watch here is gold back below south side liquidity down under EQ is going to be a major development for that. And then UVXY. So UVXY, we mentioned this was a potential bounce to fill this wick we left earlier, and that would coincide with SPY breaking down from here to fill that downside wick. We want to see breakdowns across the market. So breakdown on Berkshire back below to our 532 target, maybe even lower. McDonald's paying a bit here. Apple breakdown, etc. And again, the higher time frame does indicate potential breakouts to the upside. So we're watching the smaller time frames here for a potential flip back to the lows versus that breakout happening. And again, gold here, south side liquidity. It's not that it's not valid or invalid. I just want you to be aware that we have a massive range. So let me get rid of all my drawings so it's only indicators. You see previous day high here? Come on. Whatever. You see previous day high here. You see previous day low here. This is your daily range. Or not. Let me switch it to daily. This is your daily range. The daily has not tested either one. Can you see that visually? You have your high, you have your low. You have not tested either range. What you did test is the bottom support from yesterday. Or today. Was this today? Today. No, yesterday. Yeah, there you go. That makes sense. So bottom support from yesterday was tested today. And it held. If we come down and give up that support, you have a problem. That is when you'll have your previous day low test. At this point, you're literally between both. Right at the middle, if I had to guess. Previous day low, previous day high. You're trading right above the 0.5. What does that mean? You're slightly above the midpoint. The midpoint is here. You're trading a tiny bit above the midpoint. So if you had to say this is the fair price, the point of control, the midpoint, you're paying a tiny bit of a premium. So if you are chasing upside, this is what you want, right? But again, you're buying at a coin flip. You're between levels. What you do have is downside wicks to here if they fail to break out. And again, if you lose that, then you have this. I told you guys when we were up here, you have resistance, a lot of it, to the left. Be careful if you're long. If we break out, you're going to have a massive breakout. I told you guys, but it's going to be hard to get above that. You have all this, and that's literally where we got rejected. So be careful here if they do this. Again, you have support. At any point, they can bounce and go for the highs. They can even do it from here. What you need for a breakout as on a higher time frame is above this. And like I said, we're right along the midpoint. So there's nothing to do here. It's a coin flip. Just as easily as we can do this, we can do this. You have equal targets on both sides. From this midpoint to the highs, it's a $5 move. From this midpoint to the lows, it's a $5 move. So again, just watch what happens here. If I had to guess, like I said, it's going lower, but I would not bet on previous day high. And that's why I'm asking you guys, when did you get long? If you were green up here, why did you not book? I get the aspect of, oh, well, I thought it could go higher. Okay, so if that's the case, that's fine. You can book here, reload lower, go higher, book, reload here. Just keep it tactical. But I'm sure if you got in at the lows, anywhere here, on that breakout, you should have been green. So if you saw nice greens, my question is, why don't you take it? You need to have some type of system. It can't be a mental, depends how I'm feeling. I'll see if I take it. You need to have a set system, whether it's 30%, 50, 100, get risk free at this percent, trail stops. If you have a system set in place that you can repeat as a process time and time again, then you can start to collect data and statistical analysis on your trades. So you have a big data set, but there's no data set to collect if you're just taking random ass trades. You're just gonna have a random ass data set. If you apply the same rules and statistics and strategies time and time and time and time and time again, now you have a proper data set. If you just randomly clicking buttons, then what data are you realistically collecting? So just be mindful with that. Your SOP is going to be super important in trading. The more disciplined and more rigid structure you have as a trader, the better you're going to do in the long run, as opposed to someone who just, oh, fuck it. You know, like that's not a structure. What business operates on, oh, fuck it? Like, no one does that, bro. You can't be doing that as a trader. So yeah, don't know when y'all got in, what you're at. Like I said, if it's 0 day to expiration, any pullback you immediately lost premiums, went break even, went red. So don't know how you're doing here. This is what you want to watch, that 539.35, let's say. If they hold above that, you have hope, and I keyword hope because you're hoping this happens for the upside, which would benefit you. But if you do lose that 539.35, definitely might have some issues and might see lowered prices from here. We'll see. But again, 0 DT, just keep it tactical. Berkshire bouncing off that 532. Booked everything. Yes and no. Like I said, normal guy, this is not the most ideal environment to be swinging. If you wait for your ideal swing entry, then yeah, great. But like I said, maybe might not get it for a week. So if you just want to paper trade or just focus on the action or whatever for in the meantime, I do that. Don't just say fuck it. I'm gonna just take the week off till we get entries. Nah, like still trade the action. Still try to. If you don't want to burn capital, that's fine. At least try to paper trade so you can still practice your trading skills. Um, let's see what happens here if we get the breakdown. I'm assuming you were in calls only, or I don't know if you had other short trades, but the calls, if you took them off, that's not terrible, but we haven't technically invalidated the longs yet. Below here, we do that. So let's see what happens. Pilo, what are you trying to do? This motherfucker put flow someday like 3 times. I don't know, you trying to pull up. I'm dying, bro. What are you trying to pull up, fam? I've never seen that. You trying to pull up a chart or what? I don't know what that shit is, but that shit is clearly not working. All right, fuck it. Big bounce off Berkshire. I took McDonald's off for a profit. Look at that bounce on SPY. No way. Bro, what did I tell you? As long as we're above that level, it's technically bullish. If you booked your calls right there, right at that point, that fucking sucks, bro. That was literally probably the worst spot. If it triggered below, sure, but your stop would have been right here. Okay, it is what it is. But yeah, we're probably gonna go for that breakout, guys. So glad I took the McDonald's off there, and then as for the Berkshire, we're getting bounced off these levels. Yeah, Apple about to give us new high. So remember what I said earlier? If we're gonna get the breakout, we need the support of Apple, which we might get here. Apple breakout above here. We have this entire range to the upside. So if Apple goes for the previous day high, which is literally way the fuck up here, not saying it happens, don't go along here, just telling you guys. If that is the setup, that's gonna send SPY much higher. And you also have the financial sector, which can give it a boost here. Names like Wells Fargo, like I mentioned earlier, Ramiro was in calls. I don't know if anyone else had him, but this was the path. I said we have resistance here, but if they do manage to break out above this, that's when you can have a much bigger move. And the XLF also shows that possibility to the upside, maybe even higher, right? So again, if the XLF gets a boost, Apple gets this breakout, and a couple other names get going, like Samwise or something, you're for sure going to be trading at those levels on SPY. So just careful shorting. Bro, if this shit runs, nasty. That's all bad, bro. They literally shook you out at the worst spot. Maybe it was my comments. I wasn't trying to shake you out, but this was literally the midpoint ish. Drew it by hand, but it was around there, and that's literally where they bounced it. So if they break out above these levels here, you have your descending trend, which we broke out of, and then you have your highs here. So if they get above this, which they haven't, which is right around your 786, maybe let's say 541.50. If they start pushing above 541.50, high probability they're gonna go for the breakout. For now, you can still be tactical, but all day we've been saying breakout, breakout, breakout. This is probably gonna be it right here. Let's see. And again, you need Apple to help. If Apple don't help, this ain't gonna happen. So keep an eye on Apple. Coming back into those highs here. All right, fuck it. Everybody's straight, right? I'm gonna call it here. But everybody should be straight, right? I don't see questions in Discord or YouTube, but let me know. And then tomorrow, I'm probably not gonna do a stream, so tomorrow Discord only. Fuck it. I'll try doing a write up only day. See how you guys like it. See if it's a little better, and then we'll get some votes. And if you guys do like it, maybe we'll do a total conversion, or maybe I'll try to do a little bit of a mix of both. I'll see. I'll figure some shit out, but tomorrow might not do a stream. Probably do Discord only. And then normal guy, I know you said you booked everything. If you wanna let me know what's up with you. If you're chilling, say less. You got any questions or whatever, tap in. Anybody, if you got questions like, hey, why didn't this trade work? How could I have done better? One, it's best if you teach yourself. If you go over the chart yourself, you look at the entries yourself. The the more learning you do on your own, it's the better. To be honest with you guys, like you don't ever want to rely on anyone, and it's not that I don't want you guys to rely on me. But your brain just works differently when you teach yourself something versus when it's told to you, if that makes sense. Or at least I think so. So always review your trades. But if you got any questions, like hey, I did this or that. Now I don't know if I should do this or like just any general questions anytime, and not just normal guy, anyone in general. Just let me know. Even after a loss, like oh shit, I fucked up. I shouldn't have done this. What can I do? Honestly, to be honest with you guys, after a big loss, if you did fuck up, like it is what it is. That's the best thing I can tell you. You know, just move on from it. Don't chase it. If you do feel like you're not ready to trade, take a day or two off for as long as you need until you feel mentally prepared. Because if you're not mentally in the right state of mind to trade, you shouldn't be trading, in my opinion. But like I said, if you guys have any questions, reply in chat, or if it's something you will rather ask me in private, just reach out. But I'm gonna call it a day here. If you guys are gonna stay on your charts, which I don't recommend, if you made money or didn't, definitely just go enjoy your day. Go get some sun, go walk, do whatever. If you want to stick on the charts, up to y'all. But if you are gonna stay here, something to keep in mind is this level of resistance on Berkshire we've been watching all day. Currently below. Question is, do we stay below or push above? That's gonna give you some type of indication on market sentiment. If it gets above, obviously bulls can get that leg we were discussing. Apple, it's like it wants to push up. Let's extend this right. If we get above 203.50, like we said, maybe we'll get that breakout. So watch that. And then SPY, similar comments above 541. What did we say? 541.50, I think it was. We might see the breakout to the upside. So write those levels down if you're going to be trading. Keep that in mind. Stay tactical. And if we do get above those levels, just know they're probably going to go for a squeeze. Well, good luck. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Gilbert, one, you always show up like late as fuck. I don't know if you've been here all day. If you just hopped on right now and you're hearing me right now, yes and no. We technically are saying we can break out here, but I'm not saying buy calls right now. Cause you always be coming late as fuck, bro. Like after everybody already sold their trades type shit. So I'm not saying to get long here. I'm also not saying to short because we've been in a range. Like I said, I don't know if you've been here all day. If you have been, you know the tactical levels on Apple were down here. So technically, sure, we're bullish. But if you're asking me to buy calls, look at where you're buying them. You're buying them at the top of the range that has been resistance all day. So if we break out above these levels, sure, we might get that leg up. And if you want to scalp it for a squeeze or something, I guess you could. It's just not ideal. I never want to tell anyone to short into resistance. You could have gotten in, obviously not in this one because market wasn't open. But in this drop, you could have for sure got long if you wanted to. And SPY, you also had an opportunity to get long down here if you wanted to, if you didn't at open. So if you didn't get long at those lows, I wouldn't do it here. Technically, can we be bullish if we break out above here? Yes. But if you're asking me, are we bullish so you can buy calls here? Maybe not the best idea. So up to you, bro. But again, it's best if you come earlier and ask questions or anything earlier. Because I haven't seen you all day, Gilbert, and I'm telling you, you be coming late as fuck. It's no disrespect, you know. But like they say, early bird gets the worm. Do what you want with that info again. If you do want to chase the breakout here above this resistance for a pop, your call. Not something I'd be the most comfortable doing myself. And if you do it, make sure it's not with size and half stops. And that goes for everybody. All right, for sure. I appreciate y'all coming to kick it. I say less. I'm gonna catch up. All right, if you've been here, cool for sure. I just want to make sure you've been listening to the entire commentary and you've been watching the entire game. You know, it's kind of like, let's say, there's a basketball game going on or something. Uh, I don't know. How can I explain it? Let's say you watching a basketball game and, well, you come late to a game and they were down 30. And then, like, you don't know they were down 30. You just come watch the game when, they're tied and you're like, oh shit, they're tied. It's like, you don't, just long story short, unless you know the whole action, where we're at in the action, how price can develop, if you just come late in the day, it's not, you might get confused by commentary. So I just wanted to make sure you've been here all day. But if you have, for sure. But, and you too, Gilbert. I know you really haven't been trading, bro. So if you got questions about something, tap in. Say less. I'm in the stream. I'll catch ya. Have a good day. And don't be on the charts all day too, bro. Get your bread and just go chill. You don't need all the money. If you miss a setup, you miss a setup. Fuck it. It is what it is.